The non-compete ban in the US just got halted, but not for everybody. For who? I'll break it down. So backing up, in April, the US Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, issued its rule to ban non-competes in the US, but it didn't take effect right away. It's scheduled to take effect September 4th. And right after the rule came out, like within 24 hours, there were lawsuits filed challenging it by business groups who want to be able to use non-competes for their employees. So fast forward to today, there are 2 active lawsuits challenging the non-compete ban, one in Texas federal court and one in Pennsylvania federal court. So just this afternoon, the judge in the Texas case, Judge Ada Brown, issued a preliminary injunction, halting the non-compete ban from taking effect September 4th. But it's not a nationwide ban. It doesn't apply to all employers in the US. It only applies to 5 employers that filed the lawsuit. Ryan LLC, which is a tax advisory firm, and then 4 others, like the US Chamber of Commerce and 3 other lobbying firms. And it doesn't apply to the members of those. Like if someone's company is a member of the Chamber of Commerce, which many businesses are, they're not covered by this halt on the non-compete ban. And the court specifically addressed that and said there wasn't enough evidence for association representation, meaning that the Chamber of Commerce could represent all employers that are members. So it only applies to like literally employees of the US Chamber of Commerce, which isn't many. So it's really limited to these 5 groups. And that's a temporary injunction, basically meaning it won't take effect until the courts can play out the ultimate legality. But in the ruling, Judge Brown basically laid the cards that it's very unlikely that the rule will actually take effect September 4th, because she said she's going to rule on the merits, meaning an overall decision on the legality of the rule. And in it, she literally says the FTC's rule is suspect, that they have the authority to issue such a sweeping non-compete ban. So for all of those employees who saw the non-compete ban and have been celebrating that, already you saw a lot of people saying, hold on, that might not take effect. And today's ruling really shows that in all likelihood, people expect that it will get stopped by the courts. And so she said that she will issue a ruling by August 30th. That's 5 days before it's going to take effect. But what about the Pennsylvania lawsuit? How does that work? And remember, both of these are in federal court. So the judge in Texas can issue a nationwide injunction on non-competes. Again, she chose not to. She specifically said today she's not going to halt it nationwide, only for these employers. But it's not just limited to generally what happens in Texas. So the Texas lawsuit and the Pennsylvania lawsuit both could impact employers and employees nationwide. So the Pennsylvania lawsuit is different. Unlike in Texas, where it's like a big company and 4 big business groups, this Pennsylvania lawsuit is by a 12-employee tree service company. And so this company says they have non-competes for all 12 of their employees, which raised a lot of eyebrows, honestly, for those that practice employment law. That's pretty unusual. But in that case, there's a hearing on July 10th. And so the judge there will at least hear arguments from both sides. So some people will say that's the type of thing, that's a meeting that could be an email. But so she's gotten the filings from both and she'll let them hear. And so she said she'll decide by July 23rd in the Pennsylvania case. So again, they're seeking a nationwide injunction as well. So what would happen if, for example, Pennsylvania struck it down, but Texas hasn't yet? Like, it creates a patchwork. And so that's when you have things like the Court of Appeals, and ultimately things can go up to the Supreme Court. But I think a lot of people are expecting that on August 30th, the judge in Texas, to likely, from her ruling today, find that the non-compete ban likely isn't legal. But we'll see, because I personally expected today for there to be a nationwide injunction in the Texas case. So I guessed wrong, but we'll see. So that's the update. So no, non-competes have not been halted for everybody in the US, but they have been for 5 specific employers. And the judge has said by April 30th in Texas, that case will decide overall. And a lot of people at that point would expect that there would be an overall decision against the non-compete ban. So hold tight. And again, this will be running up right close to when it's supposed to take effect, September 4th.